Things just took an unexpected turn for the Philadelphia Eagles before Week 1, as the NFL's latest blockbuster trade just potentially changed everything for the Birds in the NFC, while Philly's biggest rivals have been left in shambles, so let's break it down. Plus, the Eagles just made several underrated roster moves, including adding a dangerous weapon that might have just solved a huge problem. Meanwhile, we got some updates on the injury status of A.J. Brown and Landon Dickerson, while several of the Birds' other new additions are causing excitement as well. So let's talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. So we are somehow less than 1 week away from the Eagles vs. Cowboys season opener at Lincoln Financial Field. And while the hype for that is at an all-time high, and I, along with I'm sure all you guys, could not be any more excited to finally have real Eagles football back, there's also been no shortage of news over these past several days to talk about. As the Birds have obviously made a ton of roster moves over this past week, even in the days after NFL roster cutdown day back on Tuesday, and while we will get a bit more into some of those later, including a few new moves, it was actually the Birds' Week 1 opponent in the Dallas Cowboys who made the biggest news recently, and for Eagles fans, it is just absolutely amazing and also so freaking hilarious. As I'm sure you've all seen at this point, that the Dallas Cowboys traded superstar edge rusher Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers, and obviously, this has major implications for the Eagles, their Week 1 game, and just the NFC East and NFC in general. But my first initial reaction to seeing this trade go down was, what in the world are the Cowboys doing, and how do you botch this situation so freaking bad? And I feel like I captured those emotions pretty well in my immediate live reaction to the trade on Thursday. I don't even know how to start this stream right now. ESPN sources, Cowboys are trading 3 times. I genuinely can't even say. The Cowboys are trading 3-time All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons to the Green Bay Packers. Parsons and Packers already have reached agreement on a 4-year, $188 million contract, a record-breaking contract that includes $120 million fully guaranteed at signing and makes Parsons the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. This is hilarious. Like, there's so much I can say, but also not much I can say, because I just want to laugh at the Dallas Cowboys and how they completely and utterly botched this entire situation. Like, you have Parsons, when he requests the trade, coming out and saying, like, I don't want to have these, like, basically get suckered into these negotiations that I don't even know are negotiations, where my agent isn't present and you're, like, trying to trap me. Like, it just does not make any sense why the Cowboys wouldn't just try and get him paid as soon as possible. Like, the fact that it even got to this offseason to begin with is crazy to me. Like, if I were, obviously as an Eagles fan, we're all used to Howie getting stuff done as soon as possible, so you would think that they would have gotten it done last offseason. But, obviously it goes on to this offseason. Parsons was patient enough to wait, and you still are refusing to have legit contract negotiations with the guy because you don't want an agent to be involved for whatever reason. Not like that's a super abnormal practice. Like, every guy's got an agent. I don't even know. Jerry tried to pull a fast one on Micah, then tried to blame him for not negotiating. Exactly. Like, what was he thinking? What were they thinking? This is your best player. This is the face of your franchise, in my opinion. Well, not anymore. But why? Why do you let it get to this point? Pay him immediately. Jerry, how do you let this happen? The Cowboys received defensive tackle Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. There's just no way you can rationalize this if you're a Cowboys fan, though. Like, it doesn't matter that you got 2 first-round picks. It doesn't matter that you got Kenny Clark. It doesn't matter. Like, this should have been a layup. You should have extended him last offseason. I have no idea how Jerry Jones and the Cowboys organization botched this situation as badly as they did. Yeah, I'm still in shock that this trade actually happened, honestly. But obviously, it has huge implications for the Eagles as well. I mean, for one, we're talking about the Birds' biggest rival's best player that just got traded. So that obviously makes those 2 matchups against the Cowboys a lot easier this season, and also moving forward into the future. And it also makes the already struggling Cowboys significantly worse, which, that just makes things easier for the Birds in the NFC East. And as far as the Eagles and Cowboys Week 1 season opener goes, I didn't expect Parsons to play in that game anyway, but if there was even any chance, that is obviously no more. So that makes this game an even bigger mismatch in favor of the Eagles. Now, on the other side of this trade, Parsons obviously does make the Packers significantly better and definitely more of a threat to the Birds in the NFC than they previously were. And the Eagles also play the Packers in Week 10, so that matchup definitely just got a whole lot more challenging. That said, I still think the Eagles are easily the better team, and I really don't think that this elevates the Packers from a playoff team to a Super Bowl contender like some people are acting like. And again, overall, I just could not be happier as an Eagles fan that this trade happened. Jerry Jones, great job. Keep doing your thing, man.
And we can win in our minds more than had we gone the other route and signed.
You serious?
Moving on though, Howie Roseman has certainly been doing his thing all week long as he continues to finalize and fill out this Eagles roster ahead of Week 1. I mean, the flurry of roster moves that he's made to bring in more talent has just been insane. Whether it was to shore up the QB spot and get another reliable backup in Sam Howell, who seems to be already picking things up pretty fast.
Yeah, for me, this is my fifth offense I've had to learn in the NFL, so I'm kind of used to learning new things and feel like I do pretty well at learning things pretty fast, so I'll be ready to go.
Are there any tricks to learning it quickly?
Yeah, honestly, it's just time. You got to sacrifice a lot of time, and I've spent a lot of time in this building since I've been here since Sunday night, and it'll continue to be that way, just so I'm ready to go.
Then you have the once-and-again Eagle and perfect backup swing tackle in Fred Johnson, who really seems like he couldn't be more excited to be back in Philly and is willing to do whatever it takes to help this team win.
It's great to be back. Oh my God, I'm so excited, so ready. Just happy to be back in the city, happy to be back with this team, and continue to keep the train rolling. I heard about the trade and I kind of, was like, hey, if I go anywhere else, I'd rather go back to the Eagles. So, I was super happy, super excited. I told my family, told my mom, told my son, and, was just ready to get out here. I almost asked to drive up instead of fly the next morning. So, I was ready to get back. I mean, when you go somewhere that's, obviously they traded for me, like they need me, and I'm willing to do whatever for these guys. These my brothers, these my folks, and there's no disappointment, no sadness going into it. I'm ready when y'all need me, and that's that. And see where everything comes at after this season. I love Philly. I love everything. I love cheesesteaks. I love all that. But, I'm excited to be back here. I'm excited to, chase, have big dreams to chase. And, I'm ready for whatever comes my way. So.
And then you got the brand new guy to the offensive line room in undrafted center Willie Lampkin, who, by the way, watching his tape, there is just no way that you cannot be excited for this guy. He's just out here pancaking people. And he's also got some great ability to get out in space and move. So, despite his extremely short size, he's clearly got some potential, which I'm sure Jeff Stoutland can and will unlock. And even though Lampkin didn't expect to be here, he sure seems ready to get to work.
I feel like I'll do some good things in this offense. I feel like I can pull, I can get off of screens, I can block wide zone, mid zone. I feel like I can block any scheme.
Do you see yourself as a center guard, like that flexibility, or?
Really, I can play both, but whatever the team needs, I'm willing to play whatever. I'll play fullback, whatever.
Would you? Well, do you think that's something that could be in your future?
Sure, man. If it is, it is. I'm ready to play it.
Then, moving on, you have safety Marcus Epps, who officially rejoined the Birds as a member of their practice squad, and he was seen out in the field for the first time on Thursday, rocking a rather ugly number in the 39, but still, nonetheless, very cool to see Epps back out there for the Birds. And again, as I said in my last video, I think Epps is a great veteran depth addition at safety with some pretty high potential, so again, definitely excited to have him back. However, the former Eagle that I might be the most excited to have back is wide receiver / returner Britain Covey, as on Thursday, the Birds officially signed Covey to their practice squad just days after he was released by the Rams during final cuts. And again, I am super excited to have him back, not just because I kind of called it in my last video, but also because the Eagles were in desperate need of a returner, and when healthy, Britain Covey is one of the best kick and punt returners in the entire NFL. I mean, in 2023 specifically, Covey had the most punt return yards in the league by far and was third in yards per return. So again, when healthy, Covey is a dangerous weapon on special teams who can break off a big return at any moment. So In that way, I'd almost say Covey might have been the Eagles' missing piece, assuming that he stays healthy. And I'd also have to assume that he gets called up to the active roster for week 1 and possibly earns a permanent roster spot from there. But, we'll see what happens. Either way, I am so happy to have Britain Covey back. I love this signing, and it was just cool to see him back out there on the practice field on Thursday, albeit rocking a different and strange-looking number in 85. Speaking of which, we also do have a bit of fun news from Thursday's practice as 3 different guys changed their jersey numbers. One of those being wide receiver Darius Cooper, who of course originally was wearing the number 41, but after A.J. Brown called him out, he kind of had to change it. As A.J. said, quote, "He will not be wearing that out there with us." So again, Cooper changed his number going from 41 to 80, and this comes after John Mechie changed out of number 80 to get to 18. And also, cornerback Jacorian Bennett switched from 49 into Cooper's old number 41. And overall, I'm a fan of all the jersey changes. I mean, it's obviously nothing too crazy, but definitely good to see the guys improve their numbers at least a little bit. Moving on though, the Eagles also made a couple more interesting additions to their practice squad, with the first being the signing of cornerback Ambry Thomas. And this is a guy that has actually played significant snaps in the league before, as after being picked by the 49ers in the 3rd round back in 2021, he went on to appear in 42 games for them, starting 11, and also starting in 4 playoff games. However, he's had a rough go of it since 2024, as he missed all of that season with a broken arm before being cut late in the year, and then he went to the Colts but failed his physical, so he was released again, and then he spent this offseason with the Vikings before eventually being released again as well. So his hope is certainly that he can stick around in Philly for a bit now, and as a guy with playing and starting experience at corner in the league, I do think he's a good depth addition on the practice squad. And then, in addition to that, the Eagles also signed wide receiver Javon Baker to the practice squad on Friday morning. And this is a guy that was just a former 4th-round pick of the Patriots a year ago. And even after they cut him, they had said that they wanted to get him back on the practice squad, but Baker opted to sign with the Eagles instead, and now gets a fresh start in Philly. Now, last year was very disappointing for Baker, as he caught just 1 pass for 12 yards in his rookie season, but he did show plenty of talent and flashes of potential in college. So he now comes to the Eagles practice squad in hopes of maybe developing and learning from some of the best receivers in the game. Moving on though, the Birds also got another brief update from practice recently, as reporter Zack Baun made a statement on both the statuses of A.J. Brown and Landon Dickerson ahead of their Week 1 game against the Cowboys, as of course, these two have been dealing with injuries over the past few weeks, but after returning to practice this week, it seems like they are going to be good to go for the Cowboys game. As via Scoop City, Baun said, quote, "It looks like they'll be on the field Week 1, so, that's definitely great news, and can't wait to see both those guys out there against the Cowboys on Thursday night. And I also can't wait to see the Eagles wear their iconic Kelly green jerseys against the Cowboys this year, along with their other 2 division opponents. As it was revealed on Thursday that the Birds would wear Kelly green 3 times this year, those being in Week 8 against the Giants, Week 12 against the Cowboys, which, by the way, is the first time the Birds will wear these jerseys on the road, and then also in Week 18 against the Commanders. So that's definitely going to be awesome to see the Birds break these out in their rivalry matchups this year. Plus, it was also awesome to find out who the Birds' captains were going to be this year.
So your captains, all right? Saquon and Reed, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, A.J. Brown, Jake Elliott, and another first-time captain here who worked his ass off to be able to do this, and I love what your teammates think about you, Zack Baun.
There's not much else to say besides this is just awesome. I mean, I love the captain announcements every year, and this year, it is so cool to see a couple first-time captains in Zack Baun and Reed Blankenship, because they both definitely deserve it. And then also, to see Saquon included is great too, as he's a first-time captain with the Eagles, and like the others, he couldn't deserve it anymore. But now, all that said, there is less than 1 week before the Bird season opener, so you guys know I'm going to be continuing to cover everything in the lead up to the Week 1 game against the Cowboys, as well as all the Eagles news that comes out throughout this entire season. So if you don't want to miss any of that, make sure you subscribe and you turn on notifications. That way you're notified instantly when I upload a video or go live. Again, you're not going to want to miss anything. And also, leave a like down below to show some support, because it really does help me out a ton, guys. Let's see if we can get to at least 500 likes on today's video. And also, leave a comment down below. What were your initial reactions to the Micah Parsons trade? What do you think of some of these moves that the Eagles have made in recent days? Just, again, give me all your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, while you're at it, if you do want to watch another Eagles video, you can check this one out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.